Hey boys, what's going down, man? Hope you guys are doing good. Um, camera just almost fell over. So me and Martin have a podcast on the way for you guys, bro. We're about to get into the booth, but I had a quick video that I've been meaning to film, for you guys that I've been thinking about, and I was talking with one of my friends, and we're just getting down to this idea, you guys, and I'm trying to talk to him about it. He's trying to wake up to this stuff, and a lot of people aren't um, aware of a lot of this stuff, you guys. But what I wanted to talk about just briefly here is that society and whoever it is that's running the planet, you guys. I know some people are gonna think. What comes out of my mouth is crazy. Like, I know you guys won't, but there's a lot of people in the world who they are not on board with this information because they're just closed off, But you guys, the people that run the world, especially the guys that target the men, they target us, guys. They want to lower our consciousness. They want to lower our vibration because, guys, that makes us easier to control. It makes us weaker, and it allows them to essentially do whatever it is they want to do. Have their way, make more money. When we're more easy to be controlled. When they lower our consciousness, lower our vibration, that's what they do. And there's different things that they use. I'm gonna go into it just briefly here because me and Martin are about to get into the booth, bro. So stay tuned for that, man. But the first step, you guys, is we have to understand the agenda. Understand that there is a group of people, at the top that are controlling things. Whether it be, I honestly don't know who it is. Some people call it the elite, call it the government, whatever it is. All I know is that there's a group of people. It's a lot of the wealthy people in the world. These billionaires and whoever, they run the world, bro. Like, different areas, man. All the rich people, that's what the agenda is that they want all of us to be, they want our consciousness to be lowered. They want our vibration to be lowered, all right? So that's the first step, is understanding this, the second step is understanding what the weapons are. That's what I like to call it, is the matrix weapons, that these people like to use, man. There's the food, all right? There's music, entertainment, lust, and then social media. Those are the top five, all right? The biggest ones. The food, you guys, that's why we always talk about how you got to be careful with what you're consuming. No fast food. All these fast food places, you guys, they're designed to lower your vibration, get you feeling like shit. You eat these all the time, you're going to end up obese. You're going to end up fat. That's why America, now I know a lot of you guys that aren't in America, but here in America, there's a lot of people that are overweight because of all this food, So that's one of them. The music that you listen to on the radio, all these different frequencies that are going on in the music, that's another thing. So you got to be careful about what you're consuming with the music, certain different things. I used to like rap and hip hop a lot. I still do, but a lot of these artists I can't listen to because I know what they're saying. They're pumping out a lot of songs that are about violence and lustful things and girls, and you guys already know what they do, so that's another thing. They control your consciousness with that. You're listening to all these low vibrational songs and things like that, bro, and that's going to lower your consciousness as well. The entertainment, all the stuff that you're watching on Netflix, they get you hooked on Netflix. They get you hooked on watching all these movies and shows, on a daily basis. There's this girl coworker the other day. She came up to me and she wanted to talk, and the only thing that she wanted to talk about, she's like, "Oh my God, like, what shows should I watch? Do you have any shows that I can watch?" And like, I'm not hating on people that like to watch shows, but like, it seemed like that's the only thing that she liked to do, and it reminded me of my last relationship that I was in with this girl, right? Because all she would do is watch shows at night, like just binge watch stuff. She'd go to work and then come home and just sit on the couch and watch shows, and it's like, I can't be with someone like that. And that's another way. They lower your consciousness because they get you hooked on watching these apps and these shows to where you're constantly, whether you're on your phone or your laptop or your device, on TV, you're just locked into a screen, bro. You're not doing anything spiritual when you're locked into a screen, you know, and the screen has radiation coming off of it, so that does something too, you know. Another one, you guys, is huge for us guys is the lust. You know, obviously you guys know, you know, we talk about semen retention all the time, and that's one of the biggest ones, you know, for us guys, is the lust, because when we release, you know, we lose our power. Releasing makes you weak. You know, releasing your life force makes you weak. So they're pushing all this stuff, right? Putting lustful images on Instagram. Porn is free. You know, porn is free because you're paying for it with your power, you guys, your energy, your soul. And every time you bust a nut, that's what's happening to you. You guys, you're busting a nut. You're giving up that life force. You're giving up your essence. You're giving up your power. You're giving up your soul when you do that. So that's what makes you weak as well. The lust makes you weak, you guys. That's like the biggest one, man. When you bust nuts all the time on a daily basis, you're lowering your consciousness. You're lowering your vibration. When you retain, you raise it back up. All right, so that's basically like one of the biggest weapons that they have. All right, is porn. You know, and then the last one is social media. Just like the what I was talking about with the TV shows and the entertainment. You know, they get us addicted to these devices. You know, looking at different apps and watching different things. So it lowers our consciousness because we're not tapping in with God. We're not tapping in to our spiritual side. We're just glued to these devices, you know, whether it be the apps or whatever, you know, whatever it is we have going on. We're not spending time with God. We're spending time on the device, you know, and that lowers our spiritual connection, lowers our consciousness, makes us easier to control. Because, guys, for us, a man that will retain his life force and tap in with God or a spiritual connection, you become very dangerous, bro. You become very disciplined and dangerous, and they don't want that happening. You know, so if you want to turn into the best version of yourself, this is what I would suggest, man. Obviously, retain, but try to stay away from a lot of this stuff. You know, that's why I'm making this video. Try to eat healthier, try to watch what you're consuming as far as music and entertainment, what you're watching, and social media. You know, as soon as you cut all that out, you replace it with healthy stuff, working out, spending time with God, you know, working on yourself, you're going to turn into a beast. You're going to turn into a whole different person. You're going to turn into a serious individual out here, you guys, because you got to understand, man, the first thing that I said, there's an agenda going on with these people that are at the top. They're trying to control all of us. You're not supposed to just do whatever you want on this planet and our existence. You know, whatever they throw at us. There's so many people that feel like they're, oh yeah, it's okay. You know, we can just do whatever we want. It's our life. You know, we can just do whatever we want. No, bro, not everything is good for you. Especially most things that get put out into like the mainstream. You really gotta, you know, think twice about these things, because most of this stuff is really dangerous. You know, so anything that's being pushed mainstream, like these fast food places, McDonald's, Taco Bell, that's poison, bro. Any of these huge rappers, you know, they're putting out weird frequencies in the music. They're rapping about bad shit. They're rapping about killing people, you know, cars, clothes, girls, drugs, all this stuff. Those things that are also going to lower your vibration, you know. And then they get you hooked, man, on the Netflix and the phone. You're looking at a screen, all right? You're not tapping in with God. You're not improving yourself. No, you're focused on screens and devices and TVs and apps and all this stuff, right? So it lowers your consciousness, makes you easier to control. All right, guys? So that's a video that I had for you, man. We got to be mindful, man. Society's trying to make us weak, and we have to fight back. You know, I'm sure that I will go into this a little more in depth. I just wanted to make a quick video for you guys, bro, because I was thinking about this all day. So hopefully you guys learned something from this, and obviously drop a comment if you can relate, and let me know what you guys think. All right, guys, we got podcast 110 on the way with me and Martin. It's about to drop here shortly, probably in an hour. So stay tuned for that, and I'll catch you guys next time. All right, y'all. Peace.